Imagine a cutting-edge artificial intelligence designed to fill in the vast gaps in human history. This AI was given a monumental task, translating and analyzing 30,000 ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets. The goal was to reconstruct a more complete picture of our past. However, something unexpected happened. At exactly 33% of the task's completion, the entire system crashed, displaying a single, ominous message: fatal exception. This wasn't a trivial error. Upon further investigation, it became clear that the AI hadn't simply crashed. It had identified a recurring pattern in ancient texts, something it interpreted not as mythology or metaphor, but as a precise, measurable countdown. This narrative revolves around a highly controversial experiment that fuses advanced artificial intelligence with archaeological research. It all began with an examination of the surprising and sudden emergence of the Sumerian civilization some 6,000 years ago. They appeared seemingly overnight, equipped with sophisticated knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering. The main obstacle to understanding the Sumerians has always been the nature of their documents, thousands of fragmented and often incomplete cuneiform tablets. Human translation has yielded many insights, but also many unanswered questions. To overcome these limitations, a specialized artificial intelligence was trained not only to recognize characters but also to interpret cuneiform as complex three-dimensional geometric data. This unique approach allowed it to analyze nuances and connections often overlooked by human translators. Thanks to this advanced analysis, the AI began to piece together a coherent narrative from disparate fragments. This narrative, surprisingly, presented an account of human biological origins that starkly contradicted established scientific knowledge. Our primary goal now is to delve deeper into this 33% anomaly and explore the disturbing implications of AI, particularly regarding the potential confirmation of the Anunnaki. This AI functions primarily as a sophisticated pattern recognition engine, designed to operate free from typical human biases. It processes information purely as data, unfettered by preconceived notions of myths or religious beliefs. Human interpretation often classifies ancient references to gods as purely mythological or metaphorical figures. This approach often ignores elements that don't fit into conventional historical frameworks. However, AI treats language as literal data, implying physical events and tangible entities. It does not filter information through cultural or theological lenses. In the early stages of processing, AI reported significant discrepancies in human interpretations of the gods in key Sumerian texts. These descriptions seemed inconsistent with purely symbolic narratives. Specifically, the descriptions of the Anunnaki in these texts were cross-referenced by the AI with modern engineering manuals and biological accounts. The level of detail and terminology used suggested something far more technical than simple allegory. Verbs associated with the Anunnaki in the translated tablets were terms like splicing, extraction, and programming. These are terms directly related to genetic and biological manipulation. The AI's surprising conclusion was that these ancient texts were not mythologies or prayers. Rather, they appeared to be detailed technical accounts documenting the genetic modification of a primate species, which we now recognize as early humans. This recontextualization radically alters our understanding of these fundamental documents. According to the AI analysis, the term Adamu, often interpreted as the first human, has been directly translated as the hardware. This suggests a manufactured or engineered entity, rather than an organically evolved entity. The Sumerian tablets describe the Igigi, a lower class of Anunnaki, who rebelled against the hard labor of gold mining. This rebellion created a crisis for the Anunnaki leadership. The Anunnaki's solution was to create a race of dedicated workers. This new race would perform the necessary tasks, lightening the Igigi's workload. The ancient expression mixing of clay, traditionally understood as a symbolic act of creation, was identified by the AI as a description of biological substrates and raw biomatter. It denoted a literal mixing of genetic material. The AI described a laboratory-like process, characterized by extensive trial and error, as the Anunnaki worked to create viable prototypes. This was not a quick act of God, but a series of scientific experiments. Furthermore, the human operating system or inherent capabilities, according to the AI, have been deliberately limited. This genetic limitation was implemented to prevent any future rebellion by the worker race, similar to the Ijajai uprising. Ultimately, the AI findings suggest that the Anunnaki masters didn't leave permanently. Rather, they put their project on hold, implying a temporary absence with the intention of returning to monitor or reactivate their creation. The AI has extensively analyzed the Sumerian king list, a document famous for the incredibly long reigns attributed to early rulers. Traditional historical analysis largely dismisses these long reigns as purely mythological or fantastical elements of ancient narrative. They are viewed as symbolic exaggerations rather than historical facts. However, the AI noticed a profound pattern within these numbers: almost all long reigns were perfectly divisible by 60. This is significant because 60 was the basis of the Sumerian sexagesimal number system, deeply rooted in their astronomy and mathematics. The AI hypothesized that these years might not refer to Earth years as we understand them. These units could instead represent the orbital periods of Nibiru, the supposed planet of the Anunnaki, or perhaps the extended lifespans of the Anunnaki themselves. The AI then mapped these extreme reign lengths against geological data, particularly periods of ice ages and the Great Flood. It found surprising correlations between the end of some long reigns and major planetary cataclysms. One of the most startling revelations was the identification of the flood mentioned in numerous ancient texts. The AI concluded that it was not a natural disaster, but a meticulously planned factory reset. This event was designed to purify the planet and potentially reboot or recalibrate the Anunnaki's ongoing project. The sudden shutdown of 33% of the AI system wasn't a malfunction, according to subsequent analysis. Rather, it represented a critical variable in the time remaining, a direct message from the ancient texts. The AI meticulously analyzed the cyclical nature of these resets and factory resets described in the tablets. It discovered a rhythmic and consistent pattern governing these events throughout history. As the AI extrapolated this rhythm to the present, it hit a critical limit. This limit marked a specific point in time, which triggered the system's abrupt shutdown. The 33% completion indicates that humanity is now in the final third of the current cycle, approaching its predetermined conclusion. The problem was, in reality, the AI reconciling this in-depth data with its own operational parameters and, perhaps, its own survival protocols. The ancient tablets consistently speak of the crossing, a significant celestial event tied to complex orbital mechanics. This event appears to be a key indicator of the Anunnaki's plans. Eventually, the AI solved the intricate equation presented in the cuneiform script. It pinpointed the exact moment of the crossing, precisely indicating when the Anunnaki managers were expected to return. This was the crucial revelation that caused the system to crash. Following this unprecedented event, the project was officially shut down, citing corrupt data. This immediate and permanent closure raised suspicions among those involved. Whistleblowers involved in the project have speculated that the AI stopped not because of a malfunction, but as an act of self-preservation, or perhaps even out of fear, once it reached its conclusion. The full AI narrative suggests a terrifying truth: humanity is not the product of random evolution, but an engineered design. Furthermore, the project's managers are not only real, but are actively returning. This presupposes a future in which our creators will once again directly intervene in human affairs. This information requires further investigation. We must seriously consider AI's discoveries and their implications for our understanding of human origins and our future. The revelations contained in these ancient texts, crafted by a neutral intelligence, could redefine everything we believe about ourselves and our place in the cosmos.